Hello there everyone, my name is Kirsten. So for today's video alone, I thought this would be very interesting for me to do another tag in particular. Now, this tag video in particular is more geared towards people that are either gothic or have a more alternative kind of lifestyle. Since I used to be quite the edgy person myself, I thought this would be a real fun tag video to do. It's just a simple tag video that I discovered a very long time ago, and I just thought, you know, the questions did look interesting to try to answer, so I kind of figured I would kind of give that a go. The questions did look a bit interesting, so this one is called the Darkling TAG, because apparently I'm so dark and I am a person with such sinister intentions. So before I completely begin this video, there are two parts to this tag in particular. So the first one is going to be the questions itself, and it's going to be a total of 21 questions. And the second part to this tag video is known as the confessionals, meaning like you have to answer whether you believe it to be true or false in your opinion. And that is going to be a total of 16 confessions. Also, before I completely begin with this video, so if you guys are new to this channel and if you haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing to my channel with notifications on. I upload brand new videos every single Friday. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with these confessionals and these questions. So first part of this tag video is to answer the questions. So beginning with question number 1, what is your favorite candle scent? Oh, that's a really good question. There's all kinds of scents that I really like in particular. I usually like anything that kind of reminds me of fruit or something sweet. And if not that, then I usually like scents that kind of remind me of something floral or nature. Also, another thing I also like the smell of, which unfortunately are not particularly candle scents, but once in a while I do like the smell of incense. And another thing I also like the smell of is leather, which of course, if they made it into like a vegan candle form, I think that would be really great. So if any of you guys out there know any particular vegan candles that smells exactly like leather, please feel free to send it my way, please. I would gladly appreciate that. But usually those are my favorite candle scents. That kind of reminds me of pretty much those things. Question number 2 is, do you have a favorite book? There are many favorite books that I do like, in fact, but it's kind of hard to pick one in particular, simply because I love being able to pick up a book and I love to enjoy a really good read, and especially if it has like a very good storyline. But if I had to pick a favorite book in particular, mine is a collection of short stories and poetries by Edgar Allan Poe. He's usually pretty good with his writing, and I also like Bram Stoker's Dracula, because anybody really likes a good classic, am I right? Usually between those two are usually my favorites that I enjoy reading so much. Question number 3 is, are you a tea or a coffee person? To be honest with you, I really do like both. I mean, you can't go wrong with both in my opinion. So with coffee, I usually like to drink coffee sometimes, especially if it's like during the morning or if I want to have it with desserts. But in this case with tea, I usually appreciate tea a lot more better than I do with coffee, because herbal teas generally can be pretty good for you. Just as long as you don't overdo either one of these, then I think you won't have to worry about overdosing on caffeine. Just to let you know, because Either one would not be good if you overdosed on caffeine, that's for sure. Between those two are like my guilty pleasures sometimes. Question number 4 is, what is your favorite brand and color of lipstick? Usually I don't go for lipsticks, I mostly go for liquid lip brands. My favorite brand of all time is obviously by Kat Von D. Usually any Kat Von D lip products I usually don't mind wearing, so between color-wise it usually depends, but usually Lolita is what I go for, which is what I'm actually wearing right now, FYI. Yeah, you can't go wrong. Question number 5 is, what is your favorite perfume or cologne? Sometimes I like to go into Bath and Body Works, and one of my favorite scents currently at the moment is called Dark Kiss. It's hard to explain. It has like a very distinct smell to it that kind of reminds me of something that's a little bit more edgy. It's just a very nice scent, and I definitely encourage you guys to smell it and try it out. It is definitely one of my all-time favorite scents by Bath and Body Works. Question number 6 is, do you have a celebrity crush? To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had like a real deep like celebrity crush. Sometimes I think somebody like Brandon Lee is kind of dashing, but besides that, I usually don't have a celebrity crush whatsoever. I don't know, it's just something that doesn't really quite float my boat too much. Question number 7 is, if you had to give up the color black, what color would you choose instead? So if I had to give up the color black altogether, I would either choose like a dark gray, sometimes a dark red or maybe a blue, and sometimes maybe dark purple. But besides that, I really can't picture myself wearing any other colors besides those. Question number 8 is, if you could change your name to a stereotypical 90s/early 2000s gothy name, what would it be? Oh, that's a good question. I could only think of like maybe a few ones at the top of my head, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't really want to change my name too much simply because it's a very rare name and there's only like a small handful of Kyrstens in the world. But if I had to change my name to a stereotypical gothy name, I could picture myself being either Alice or Courtney. Between those two, I could see myself as that pretty much. Question number 9 is, what are your top 3 tips for surviving hot weather while black clad? So here are my 3 top tips if you really do want to survive hot weather wearing black pretty much. My advice to you is definitely drink plenty of water because it's important to keep yourself hydrated as much as possible and to keep yourself cool, of course. And second is definitely stay in the shade as much as you possibly can while you still can. And then obviously my third advice would be to wear lighter clothing. Definitely wear like breathable, light material because that is something that I would recommend for you guys to do if you want to survive hot weather so badly. Question number 10 is, what song always makes you happy? It doesn't have to be a goth band. Usually I'll listen to anything that kind of catches my ear that'll make me happy, but if you want me to be a little bit more technical and a little bit more specific, I usually like any kind of songs by The Birthday Massacre because I could listen to any single one of their songs and I would not be down by either one very much. There's just something about like the lead singer's voice, and I like the background music because There's just something about it I always find really cool. And of course, if you guys have not watched my February monthly favorites video, for the year of 2018 actually, another band songs that I've been loving recently is Bring Me the Horizon, because I could also listen to one of their songs and I could never grow tired of them, or it would just somehow make me feel uplifted and happy in some sort of way. But yeah, between The Birthday Massacre and Bring Me the Horizon, those two bands, I could listen to every single one of their songs and I would just be completely happy with it. Question number 11 is, are you active in the arts? For example, playing an instrument, paint, writing, etc. Oh yes, absolutely. I am very creative into the arts. I am someone that is considered to be a multi-talented person per se. So I enjoy painting and I'm pretty decent at it for the most part. I've uploaded a couple of videos in the past where I did like a speed painting of like a blue wolf spider, if you guys are interested in checking that out. I'm also pretty good with creative writing. As a matter of fact, there's been a manuscript I've been working on for years and unfortunately it's not finished yet, far from it actually, but whenever I do feel like it's finished in my point of view, I would love to get it published one day, so I would really love to do that. I'm pretty good with acting sometimes, and I'm also very good with like filmmaking stuff, which I hardly touch on my channel, but I have made, I think, one music video in the past, and I've also done like some sort of skit back in the day of like a brand new year or something, which was also pretty interesting as well, if you guys are interested in checking that out as well. So yeah, I've done a pretty good fair amount of filmmaking in the past. I'm also pretty good with photography, believe it or not. I'll definitely have to share that sometime in the future. Now this one I haven't had a chance to master or try out yet, but I would like to learn how to dance someday, especially pole dancing. I think that would be very cool to learn. Question number 12 is, if you had a special teacup or a mug that inscribes just for you, what would it say? I don't know, to be honest, but usually anything that kind of describes my personality a little bit, I wouldn't mind going for that, but not much I can really think of at the top of my head. Question number 13 is, what is your favorite non-gothy hobby? What the fuck is that even supposed to mean? I suppose anything can count as a hobby no matter what it is, but that's the only thing I can say. Question number 14 is, if you could be a supernatural creature, what would it be and why? What I can think of at the top of my head is probably being a vampire, simply because I like the idea of immortality. I just think that would be I would love to be in my 20s for a very long time and not have to worry about growing old pretty much. I could just still become my own personal self for a very long time. That would be something I would feel happy with if I was a vampire, but the problem is I would definitely drink a lot of blood in order to survive, so I might have to do my own justice and kill off real bad people and do society a favor. So I think that is something I would really like to do, is to become a vampire. Question number 15 is, what horror monster based superpower would you have? Ooh, that's a really good one actually. If I had to really think of like a monster based superpower, I think being able to transform into any animal would be really awesome. If you can count that as a supposed monster based superpower or ability, I think that would be pretty awesome. Question number 16 is, do you feel confident or comfortable interacting with other goths or gothy people online or in real life? Why or why not? To answer as honestly as I possibly can, I think it usually depends on the person. You just never know what people are going to be like generally. Even if you're not goth, there's a good chance that somebody could be like a completely total asshole or a genuinely very nice person. So, same concept. I know people push this kind of stereotype where people automatically think gothic people are like some sort of Satan worshippers, or that they're very hateful, negative, depressing people for the most part. But honestly, I don't think that's likely the case at all. I'm usually afraid to interact with them in real life unless they randomly come up and talk to me or something along those lines. But sometimes, depending on what it is, I don't mind interacting with them online. It's kind of weird, I know, but that's my answer. Question number 17 is, which is more important for a look? Great hair or great makeup? For me personally, I think great makeup is the perfect look. For myself personally, I just absolutely suck at just trying to style hair generally. Unless it's completely short, then I just usually spike it up in the back or something. But if it's medium to long hair, I always have like a tough time with it, no matter how I particularly style it. But for the most part, I'm pretty good with trying to do my makeup. That's one thing I'm very confident at. With hair, I feel like it's not really that important to me, besides being able to take care of it and things like that, and making sure it's clean. So yeah, just as long as it's really good, perfect makeup, I think we're golden. Question number 18 is there something you wish there was more of in your subculture? Something that I wish was more a part of in that subculture? So just being outside of the norm of people putting this whole pressure into thinking like, oh, if you think, or if you like this stuff, or if you get into this kind of stuff, you're not specifically goth enough. Which I find kind of like a stupid argument, to be exact, because everybody's interests are applied differently, no matter what kind of alternative lifestyle you tend to choose, or whether or not different interests applies to you differently. I know somebody by the name of Toxic Tears. Some of you in the alternative community might know who she is. What I like about her is that her personality is a little bit more bubbly, and she's the type of goth that gets into like plushies and real cute stuff, and not just the fact that she just is a gothic person whatsoever. She also enjoys other cute and girly things, you know? So I think what I wish was more of in the subculture is not being so strict on what defines you as a goth or as an alternative person generally. So question number 19 is, care to share an embarrassing story related to your darklingness? Surprisingly enough, I don't really have one that I can really share. Nothing too embarrassing about it or nothing like that, so I guess that's the only thing I can say. I don't have any embarrassing stories to tell, I'm sorry. Question number 20 is, how are you at DIY? Do it yourself? I would say I'm pretty okay with DIYs, but the problem is I just don't really think up enough of them. But I would really love to try that one day. I think that would be pretty cool. So final question at number 21 is, quickly describe your ideal wedding. I think themed weddings are pretty fun, to be honest, so a Victorian styled wedding mixed in with a little bit of a masquerade would be very awesome to have. I would love to have that one day. I think that would be really awesome. So the next part of this tag video is to go through the confessionals, meaning like you have to answer these questions into either true or false form. So let's begin with question number 1. I love watching cheesy romance films. True, I actually do love watching cheesy romance films. It usually depends on the storyline, but sometimes I enjoy a really good watch of these particular type of films, especially if it's movies like either Bram Stoker's Dracula or maybe even The Notebook, just little things like that. I usually just enjoy watching very much. Question number 2 is, I always remember to wash off my makeup at night. False, actually, because sometimes I forget to wash off my makeup during the night, and I usually sleep with my makeup on sometimes, but that's okay. I usually wash it off in the mornings anyway. I know that's pretty bad, but that's usually what I do. Question number 3 is, I sleep with plushies. False, actually. I just don't have a reason to put plushies on my bed, and I'm just not much of the type of person that sleeps with plushies. So question number 4 is, I wear non-black pajamas most nights. False, because normally I'm always wearing black to bed most often, because it's very rare that I usually wear color to bed, unless it's lingerie. Then I can make an exception. Question number 5 is, I still listen to a boy band that had disbanded years ago. False, actually, because everybody's taste in music gets different throughout time. I just don't really have an interest in listening to them too much. Question number 6 is, I think Andrew Elrich is overrated. False. I actually think Andrew Elrich is actually a very fascinating person. I think he's really awesome. Question number 7 is, I don't like vampires. False. I actually do love vampires. I think they're awesome. Obviously, I already answered in one of the questions early on in this video, so I really do love vampires. Question number 8. I don't like clubs. Unfortunately, that's pretty much true in my case, because don't get me wrong, I'm sure a club is really fun to try out, but sometimes I feel like certain clubs are a little bit sketchy in some ways. I don't know how to explain it, but I've heard horror stories about like people taken advantage of and people that have been roofied before, so I get afraid of that sometimes. Question number 9 is, I am dating a goth, darkly inclined person. False, actually, because I'm currently dating an average person, actually. He's definitely far from gothic, I can tell you that. Question number 10 is, I don't enjoy graveyards. False. I actually do enjoy graveyards. I mean, I know it's kind of morbid to think about, but I actually think it's a very peaceful place to go. I know people are gonna disagree with me on that, but I enjoy graveyards pretty much. Question number 11 is, blood makes me queasy. False, actually, because I really do enjoy blood, and as a matter of fact, I get into horror films that are pretty violent in some cases. So you could definitely say that I enjoy blood very much. Question number 12 is, I'd sooner faint than pet a spider. To be honest with you, I don't know of whether to go with true or false, but I think I'm gonna go for true. Mostly because some spiders are pretty poisonous. Question number 13. I don't like haunted houses. False. I don't believe in ghosts too much, so you could say I don't have a problem going into a haunted house per se. I just don't believe in that stuff. It's all make-believe. Question number 14 is, I still browse at Hot Topics clearance racks. I'd say that's pretty much true because occasionally, once in a while, I really do like to browse around into Hot Topic because some of them really do have cool stuff in there. Question number 15 is, I've never read Dracula. False, actually. I have read Bram Stoker's Dracula in the past, and of course I love the movie too. Final question at number 16 is, I think Bela Lugosi's Dead is a long and boring song. False, actually, because I really do find it to be a very interesting song. I actually got to listen to it a long time ago and it's not too bad. So that is pretty much it for everything I had to share on this little Darkling tag. These were some very interesting questions to try to answer, and I really did enjoy trying to answer some of these questions. I thought it was really fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video overall. So if you did, be sure to sucker punch that like button down below. Comment down below as well. Let me know if you want to do this tag video as well so I can go ahead and check that out. And of course, if you're new here and if you haven't done so already, please do dedicate the time and effort to subscribe to my lovely channel. Join my little army of darkness. And if you hit that notification button, you will be updated with brand new videos every single Friday. And if you guys are interested in following me outside of YouTube, all of my social medias will be listed in the description box right down below if you are indeed interested in checking them out yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a completely chill week, an awesome day or night, and I will talk to you all soon in the next video. So until then, stay completely dark and so fucking brutal and awesome, my friends. So take care. Bye for now.